All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. This is the Spin That Shit podcast, and we got a great guest today. Matt Heckler's with us. He just dropped some new music. We're going to talk about that. He's on the road currently with the Lost Dog Street Band, and obviously I'm a big fan of what they're doing as well. So go catch them out on the road. It's always a good time. And we're going to talk to Matt here in a second about basically his travels, his music, the future, what he's going to be doing, different projects, and all kinds of good stuff. So first, I do want to say thanks for the support. I have a Patreon page. Please consider that. If you want to throw a tip in there for $3, or you want to be a backer of the show, we call it a shit backer. It's like $5 a month. It's not much. I mean, everyone $5 coffee, these days, it's the price of a coffee. So put it that way. The support goes a long way to keep this show rolling. So thank you. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, wherever we stream. Wherever you stream music, we're probably on there if you want to check us out and listen, or you can watch us on YouTube. So, all right, I'm done rambling. Let's go talk to Matt. So, Matt.
Yes.
Thanks for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've been listening to the new record all weekend. So it's kind of cool that you're on here just in time. It's real fresh release. So before we get into that, can you just kind of back up and tell me everything of how you pretty much got to where you are, like where you grew up, your music influence and all that, if you can cram that in a nutshell somehow?
All right. How much time we got? Well, let's see. I left home really young and was a traveling street musician. I was a busker. And it's kind of how I learned to play, was playing with other folks on the street and watching other folks on the street play, and just years and years of pounding away at that, trying to make a little bit of a living. So that's kind of how I learned to play. And then I stopped playing for a while, and Ben and Ashley asked me to come out and start opening for them. And at the time I was doing tree work and had no interest in touring anymore, trying to do it. So of course that's when things started working. As soon as I had given up, things started kind of firing off. And then since then, past 4.5 years or so, it's been nonstop. I haven't stopped going much, touring and releasing albums. It's been exhausting, but it's been too good to stop.
Yeah, you've definitely been hard at it. I've been following you for a long time now. I've seen you live, I don't know, probably 3 times now, maybe, if I had to guess. Somewhere in there.
You were at Birds Creek, right?
Yeah, I went this year too.
Yeah. How was it?
It was good. I think, the shows and everything was great. The attendance was down, which was, I think that was more gas prices. The weather didn't look too great. Just all the factors of the world right now. But overall, it was still a great show and a good time.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists and festivals have been experiencing the same thing across the board. It's like everyone and their mother's out touring now, and everything's so expensive, and people are still weary of coming out to the pandemic. I just did a tour, and there's still a lot of folks wearing masks, that's what they want to do, but it kind of seemed indicative of where people are at with that still.
Yeah. Where was that? Like, what tour was it? Kind of West Coast, East Coast, or overseas, or what was that?
It went west, but didn't hit the West Coast. We went to Colorado and back. Did a bunch of shows in Colorado, and then did some little bike trip around Colorado. It was good.
Yeah. So Ben wasn't blowing smoke, that he did pull you out of retirement, so to speak.
He really did. He keeps me out of it too. He wouldn't let me stop if I tried.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad he's pushing you.
Yeah.
The new record, I don't know. I'm just blown away by it, really, because people that like folk music or traditional music, and then you can hear it done so many different ways by different people, and they always have their own little flair to it. And yours is so unique. Like I don't even have to hear your voice sometimes. I'm like, that sounds like Matt's playing, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I think people prefer when they don't have to hear my voice.
Especially on the fiddle. Like I could be like, that sounds like Matt playing the fiddle right there.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
anything that you try to do to like coin your own sound, or is it just kind of develop naturally? Just
Um, it kind of came naturally, but I guess the structure for it was I was learning like Romani gypsy music, Eastern European music. That's primarily what I played for a long time, and then started kind of playing Appalachian stuff by myself, just ballads and kind of bastardized old time, not very traditional in a traditional sense. But I think those two sounds, like the Eastern European stuff mixed with the Appalachian stuff, created a very unique kind of overall appearance to my playing, especially on fiddle. And I think I took one lesson in my life and didn't really learn anything. But I think that's another thing is a lot of people take lessons, which there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes I wish I would have, but my style has been untouched. It's in its own little bubble that's kind of, yeah, been protected from too much outside influence.
yeah, yeah. I play a little banjo, and I don't think I would have made it too far if I didn't get some sort of instruction to get.
Yeah,
I still need a long way to go.
yeah. I was given lessons over the pandemic on Zoom, and some of the people that I was teaching already knew how to play. They'd be like, this isn't actually how you're supposed to do this." So I was just teaching people how to play wrong. It was a good time.
Yeah, they didn't read the fine print that it was a unique style of play.
Exactly. Learn how to play wrong with Matt Heckler.
The man, the set it's 7 songs for anyone that's listening that haven't picked it out. The This Town Is Killing Me. I'm looking at the list right here. It's got a good track flow to it. It's got a build, and you're a great storyteller. I like Prairie Fire a lot. Renfield's Cat is crazy as far as the music's concerned. I really
Yeah,
love that one.
good. I was
What
unsure if people were going to be into that because it's not the most palatable stuff for a lot of folks, that Eastern European style. So I was wondering if I was going to put it out, and it's those two songs are probably my favorite on the
really?
album. So that's what everyone seems to have been saying. So the one I wrote for my girlfriend, the other one just kind of came out of the ether, out of all the
Okay.
madness.
The and how long you been working on this record? Because I did recognize a few of the songs that you've played live, and that that might have been a year ago or something where I heard you play it live.
Yeah.
You been
Uh,
sitting on them?
so I started recording, and originally this was going to be an 11-song album, and there was 4 songs with full backing with a full band, uh, mostly with me just backing myself on different instruments. And I decided that they don't really fit together with all the solo stuff. There wasn't really a good flow to it. So I cut those, and those are going to go on a different album. And the solo stuff, I literally sat down on my porch and set up a microphone, hit record, and would do a couple takes of each song until I got one that I liked. In the past, I've done a bunch of recording that was very stressful, and I paid attention to all the little details, and it kind of drove me crazy. So it was really nice recording this one. It didn't take that long at all. Is
Yeah.
it's kind of how I'm hoping to take the direction of recording, so it can be fun again instead of so excruciating.
Making music is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely can get stressful, I'm sure. Um, so you're getting ready to go back on the road here soon?
yeah. I think I have 6 days until I head back out for a month, and then this autumn and this winter I'm taking a bunch of time off. So I haven't done that since I started back out again. So it'll be good to remember what it's like to have a home, a home
Yeah,
life. Usually I
nice
come
place
back
by
and
the
it
way.
takes,
I like the
yeah,
layout.
yeah, it's just a little cabin I live on top of uh, this mountain in Clyde, North Carolina, which is the least cool place in North Carolina. That's why I like living there.
It's not too busy for you.
Yeah, and there's no pretension here. There's a gun store, there's an Army Navy store, and there's a small diner that's not very good.
That's great.
That's all you need.
So what is I like asking this, outside of music, what do you like to do? I know you ride bike.
Yeah. Um, I started getting into bike packing over the pandemic, which is basically hiking but on a bicycle. So you get all a bag in the frame and a bag on the back of the bike and some way to carry stuff up front. I got really into that because I used to do a lot of hiking and had a pretty bad knee injury, and hiking just kind of hammers on that knee pretty bad. So biking isn't nearly as bad, and you get to move a little bit faster than hiking. So I got into that quite a bit. And then besides that, it's a lot of just planning tour. There hasn't been room for much else. It's like I miss doing physical labor and working outside and doing stuff, but so much of the job is sitting in front of a computer in between tours and planning stuff out. So it's kind of just music
Yeah.
and biking is all I do. Yeah.
The yeah, I think when you were in town in Indianapolis at the Hi-Fi, you were saying you like biking around that area. There's a canal
Yeah.
and all that. I think you were out running around Broad
Yeah.
Ripple,
That was,
maybe.
I can't remember what the all the bike stuff was called, but it just did a big loop around the city. It was a
Yeah,
good one. It's a
the
nice day. I
Monon
don't know it.
Trail.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
That's
cruising
a
through it. It was pretty cool, and nice dingy canal next to it the whole way.
Indianapolis is pretty cool compared to
Yeah.
what I've seen, but maybe it's just because I'm biased and grew up here. I don't know.
Is that where you're based out of Indianapolis?
Well, I'm about 30 minutes south, the suburbs, on the
Yeah.
countryside.
I
But
like Indiana a lot, man. Played in the Brown Mountain State Park or near there a while ago. It
oh,
was
Brown
beautiful
County,
around there. Yeah, it was
yeah,
really nice.
it's a great area.
And Bloomington is probably one of the craziest shows I've ever done. I think I took on
Bluebird.
some hearing damage. Yeah, Bluebird. The crowd was so ravenous. It was the last show before COVID hit, and we were there. People were just screaming so loud. Pretty sure I got some hearing damage from that.
I had tickets to that show, but because of all the madness that was going on and no one knew what was going on, they actually closed everything else up in Bloomington. I didn't go down there. I missed the show.
Yeah,
But
it was definitely a super spreading show. anyone had anyone had COVID at that show, everyone else got it because it was
yeah,
people start screaming and there's a lot of spit that comes out.
that room can get pretty tight in there. Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
That
and the
the
sound
stage
guy,
is weird.
it's an interesting setup for sure. And the sound guy was a character. He kind of did the token I did sound for Metallica thing. When sound guys say that, you're like, no, that's not good. That means most of your hearing is gone. So that was his claim, and we were like, oh, this is gonna be rough. It was, but the crowd made up for it.
Yeah, that's great. Which is kind of cool because once things settled down from that, you guys kind of like continued that tour a little bit. It seemed like because that same lineup, once you got right back out there, you came to Indianapolis. I
Yeah,
was like, great, because I was worried that you guys were going to be playing together, you and Lost Dogs. I was like, oh, great, now that tour's over. I missed my chance to, see you guys there.
yeah,
But then it turned out you ended up coming right back, so it worked out.
yeah. It was nice. Ben and Ashley, I don't want to say spearheaded it, but they were one of the first acts back out playing all the social distance shows. That, as far as bigger bills go, they were kind of the first that I saw doing it. And then a lot of other people started following suit, but that was really nice. There was a lot of being inside, which is not my forte. So getting back out and playing was pretty good.
Yeah. So back to the record. You told me the two that you liked. What were the ones that were more difficult to write? There's a lot of content in there in some of those, in the lyrical content.
Yeah. Probably the darkest song I ever wrote was After the Flood,
Yeah.
which was the title track to my first album, and the lyrics, which have been amended since, were way too dark. And I recorded it twice, and the first time Ben and Ashley were like, you shouldn't put that out. And the second time I listened to it, was like, I should not put that out with that lyrical content. So I changed the last verse up quite a bit, and it's still pretty dark, but that was probably the hardest song for me to write because it was very real feeling at the time. It's kind of based off of the flood that happened in 2014, I think, in upstate New York along the Esopus, and whole houses were getting flushed away. It's just a small creek in the Catskills, and there was a crazy hurricane that came in. It was, ate up everything around it. Became a river.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I've always been drawn to dark songs and dark, sad music and stuff. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it. But maybe maybe all the crap that's happened in my life, I can relate to it somehow.
Yeah, I think I'm weary of folks that aren't into dark music. It's like, this is a fucked up world we live in. What the hell what are people so happy about?
I know, exactly. I never understood that either. Not everything's puppy dogs and rainbows, and everybody's just so chipper all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like the dark music has taken root quite a bit more with the folk scene, which I really like that style. So
yeah. So you mentioned the 4 songs that got cut. What kind of backing instruments are we talking? Because most everything I've heard you do has all just been you. Which is still you, but in a studio setting, it's going to sound like a full band, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I go for when I'm doing all the layering tracks and stuff. So the 4 songs, see if I can remember. One is probably my favorite song I've ever written. It's a bluegrass tune. I started playing it out a little bit and then decided to save it, but I hired a bluegrass banjo player and a bluegrass fiddler to do traditional bluegrass, which is not something I can really pull off. And they were backing me, and the guy was singing harmonies. It sounds like a Stanley Brothers tune. It's also very dark. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I love Ralph and Carter Stanley. They were one of my idols.
Yeah, the early Stanley Brothers were the best, man. It's can't really touch it. It's such early sound of bluegrass that it's still gritty. I always love the Stanley Brothers.
I gotta show you this while we're on the topic, because it's wicked. I got this from Ralph Stanley back in the day at a bluegrass show down by us. It's Brown County Jamboree. So that's where Bill Monroe's park is. There's a horrible glare. There we go.
There it is.
But it's his last live recording of these two together in 1966.
Damn.
In Southern Indiana. And I got him to sign it. It's pretty sweet.
Nice. That's awesome.
But what's crazy about it is when I got home and I started doing more research, this isn't like a record you can buy anywhere. It's not on any platform. It's not. It's just something they must have cut live at that live show, and they just printed them at home and were selling them.
That's awesome. I want to do that, man. That'd be sweet. Be like, you come see a show, this is going to get recorded, and there's going to be a copy for everyone here made. That's it.
Yeah. That makes it so special. Yeah, this is like my little gem. And and George Shuffler was the stand-up bass player on it. And the night I got this, he was there getting inducted into the Bluegrass Hall of Fame, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
All that in one night, I was like, pretty epic.
I got a question maybe you can answer. Is Dr. Ralph Stanley actually a doctor? And if so, just what's going on there? Do you know?
Yes, he is legally. Um,
Uh-huh.
there was a small part or chapter in the book I read over him, and I can't think of what it was about, but he did. He's technically legally he's a doctor. I don't remember of what though.
Yeah. I
I
want
don't
some
know.
kind of prefix like that. I think that's what it's called.
I think it was a doctorate. It was something I think with music,
Yeah.
doctorate in music of some sort.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my stuff to Dr. Matt Heckler. It doesn't really ring like Dr. Stanley, but
Yeah. And like Doc Boggs. Was that this
yeah.
same idea? Never
Yeah,
see
I
it
think Doc,
DR. It was DOC, you know.
yeah, right. Exactly. I think his real name was Arthel, or maybe Doc Watson's first name was Arthel. Their names were very similar, and Doc was just his nickname. Yeah, if I would have known that people were gonna start listening to my music, if I would have known years ago, I wouldn't have used my real name. I would have had some kind of stage hand. It's a little
Yeah.
weird having your name on t-shirts and stuff. I haven't quite gotten used to it.
Yeah. Uh speaking of banjos and all that, and banjo players, I had a Patreon follower that wanted me to ask you, let's see, I got it up over here. You mentioned in the beginning of a song on YouTube, I'm assuming somewhere, that someone taught you how to play banjo. What was his name, and what did he teach you as far as like song, or if you can recall?
uh, I wonder. I know I've talked about Doc Boggs being a big influence in me, kind of emulating his themes, not so much his style as much as I'd like to. Uh,
Uh, yeah, he's referencing, yeah, rub alcohol. You do on the
yeah,
beginning of that video, an older video.
yeah, that one was funny because that was kind of my first real solo show playing out. This was years ago before I stopped playing, but it was my first real solo show at this church, and I got pretty hammered, so I was still drinking back then, and was real nervous on stage. And I said West Virginia instead of Western Virginia, and everyone on YouTube freaked out. They're like, "It is not West Virginia," and it's just funny. The trolls had a heyday.
Oh my gosh, no sympathy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the other thing. As I said, I learned the song from Doc Boggs. So everyone was like, "You met Doc Boggs?" Oh, no, no, no. I had a CD.
Yeah. Uh, the other one he had was at the beginning of another video. You were talking about the missile crisis deal when you were in Hawaii,
Hmm.
and you pretty much thought it was all going to be crashing down. So you played a song. What song did you actually play?
That so I sang a bunch of songs, but the one of mine that I sang was Leaving Heaven. Just
And
kind of
you
like a
really thought you
slow.
were just getting ready to get hit with a bomb when you were sitting there doing
Yeah, it was great.
it. Dude.
I was ecstatic at that point because I was not living my best life for sure, and was just kind of like, it was great. Someone else is gonna off me for me.
Oh
So
man.
I was pretty stoked on it. And now it's a wild story, and everyone was freaking out, and it was something else. I think I was the only one enjoying it at that point.
It's the end of the world and we know it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can only imagine. Did you write a song? You should write a song about that situation or occasion.
I've thought about it. I've actually never even channeled the emotion or anything that day into a song. I should. It'll be my one happy song. that'll be that'll be the one.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Jimmy Rogers tune talking about like tuberculosis. Like he knows he's gonna die, so he's gonna write some music and record it. Like I can see
Yeah.
you sitting there just waiting to get hit by a bomb. That's
Yeah.
just crazy.
It
Man.
lasted for a while too. It was like 38 minutes between the when they told us it was gonna happen until they said it wasn't gonna happen. It was 38 minutes of just wondering what the hell was going on. It was pretty funny.
What were people doing around you?
People were upset trying to call you couldn't get a call out because everyone was trying to call all at once, but you could text and get texts in and out. And so people were like texting their families and stuff and crying, being upset. There was folks, some of the neighbors were like, putting their kids and belongings in the car. And I was on the island of Kauai, which is 20 by 20 square miles or so. And you can't get away. if you're getting, you're
Get in
gonna
the
get hit with
car
a
and go to the
missile.
other side.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd soak it up. I kept saying I was gonna go down to the beach, catch it.
Man, that'd be a pretty wild experience.
Yeah, it was
The
something else.
what? How many banjos do you have?
How many banjos?
Yeah.
I'm down to just two. I have the one that I kind of grew up playing, and then I have the one my buddy Craig bought me, which is like a Deering Vega. I think it's like a combo banjo, and that's kind of my baby. I got it. It's a really fancy banjo, and I immediately broke the headstock off of it within
No.
2 months or so. So I bought a nicer case for it. So it's actually, I got one of those Calton cases. You ever seen those?
The what ones?
They're called
Coffin?
Calton cases.
Uh,
Calton. They make them in Austin. You can like drive over them with your car and throw your banjo, and it works pretty good. So that's my banjo in its protective shell now.
That's cool. Yeah. What's the other make and model?
The other one is a Baldwin, which got bought by, I can't remember. They got bought out, I think, in the 70s, but it's an old bluegrass banjo. And I actually have banjo bass strings on it, or what are they called? Like banjo cello strings. And
Uh-huh.
it's just a whole octave lower. So it's kind of death metal-y. It's pretty sweet. I
Yeah.
never really play that thing anymore, but it's a cool banjo. It's got a metal body. It's a little bit tinny, but yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I got one being built right now, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Oh, nice. Who's building it for you?
Lindsay at Mulher and Craft, North Carolina. He's down
Huh.
there by the folk school in Brasstown.
Okay. I've never been to Brasstown. They just did like a dance week I wanted to
Yeah.
go to, but
Um, yeah, I get he teaches there at that school, and he does woodworking and all that stuff too. But he was making some really cool. They're almost art pieces, really. Like you don't even want to touch them when they're done.
yeah.
But he kind of grinds them up and antiques them and things like that. And then the head, I went with the traditional reel. It's a goat skin head. It's a 12-inch. It looks pretty sick. He puts a dampener on it. It's pretty neat. I'll send you some pics of it. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it sounds like Ryan Navy. This guy in Concord, North Carolina, and he makes banjos with all these intricate carvings and stuff. It's such an art
yeah,
piece, and a lot of them are nylon strings, so they sound really warm and good.
yeah, yeah. This just I had him just put a regular brass tone ring in it, nothing crazy.
Nice.
But,
Yeah, North Carolina's got all the good banjo makers too. They got Ryan Navy, we got Pisgah,
yeah,
which they both put out some fine banjos for sure.
yep. I follow them online. They do great work.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
always
they're
wanted
good.
to get my hands on one of them gourd banjos.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Actually, one lady that was in the Gems on VHS contest this year, she was playing a gourd banjo and it was tuned really low and it was guttural. That made me want to get a gourd banjo too. There, get them
Yeah,
all fretless, and yeah.
that's awesome. I my father-in-law, he grows gourds, and he was talking about. I told him, like, you got to do something like that because I'm a taxidermist, so I get my hands on. I can get skin something on it to make my own. But he was
Yeah.
talking about like the thickness of the gourds and stuff. Like it'd have to be like a specialty one from. Really, the only place he was saying is like how they grow in California would be more
Huh.
ideal because the thickness of the walls they don't get like that around here. in the
Yeah.
Midwest. But
Yeah.
one day I'll tinker,
Oh yeah.
put a possum head on it or something.
Yeah. So you do taxidermy then? What's the weirdest thing you've taxidermied?
Nothing unusual because I mean we don't take domestic animals. People call, we don't do them, but pretty much all the typical wildlife stuff. We've done some African stuff. Yeah, fish, bears, lions, wolves,
Damn.
turkeys, ducks, all of it.
Hell yeah. Any big bears?
Yeah, I've done some Kodiak grizzly bears, life size, standing
Nice.
up like monsters.
Holy shit. That is awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
uh, one really cool one was that we did a full life size buffalo for a
Oh
guy,
damn.
and we bought the biggest form they offered for it, and it still wasn't big enough. So we had to like
I bet.
cast this mold onto the hump of it. The hump was like twice the size, and the gut was just huge. So it was expanding foam, just trying to fill it all in.
Yeah.
It was huge. I don't know, it's probably some world record I don't even know about, but
Yeah, right. I think they're bigger than people think. My buddy was brain tanning a buffalo hide years ago,
oh man, that's a
and
lot of work.
it was, yeah. I don't think he ever finished. I think he took some sections off of it, but it was huge. That was a giant hide.
Yeah, we we tan hides, but we send stuff in like that commercially tan it. They got all the heavy equipment to get it like garment quality. You can wear it, sort of deal. To
Yeah,
hand do it, it's just you're gonna get a pretty rough product at the end of it.
yeah,
Which
for
is more
sure.
traditional. It looks cool and it's fine as like a wall hanger or something. But like, if you're gonna try and
Yeah,
wear it or make something out of it, it's probably not the best idea.
yeah, it'll come out a little wonky. Being from the Catskills, it has a huge history of tanneries and such, and they would use hemlock back then, and there's a huge industry. And reading about all the history of that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a unique trade. I just kind of fell into it. My father-in-law owns the place, so it's kind of
Nice.
it was natural to go there.
Hell yeah.
Um, so we got the tour, we got the record.
Yeah.
This one that's going to be the 4 songs you scratched and held off. Um, how long do we're gonna have to wait for that's another full record? You probably have to add more songs, obviously, but
Yeah. So I'm gonna make that a full album. I got all the songs. When I get back from this tour, I'm gonna start recording, but that's not even gonna be the next thing that comes out. The next album I'm gonna do is a cover album, kind of like the Magnolia sessions, but I'm gonna be recording it myself, like the last album. So I'm looking forward to that. Since they're not my songs, I'm not as invested in them. It's
yeah,
I'm not as connected to them as when you write your own tunes. So that'll be the next thing I put out, and then I have an instrumental album in the works that I don't know if I'll put out or what, but it's like some dark Eastern European spaghetti western sounding. It's been fun screwing around with that. So I'll have like 3 albums coming out in the next year or so.
geez, man, you are busy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working towards that retirement.
Yeah, that I did really like your Magnolia sessions, by the way, with Dan.
Yeah. Yeah,
Did
Dan
you?
does a damn good job.
Yeah, uh, he's a good guy. Did uh did that ever make it to vinyl? That's definitely one I
Yes.
want. That's right,
Yeah,
it did.
yeah. I was just moving many boxes of it right before this phone call, getting ready for tour. So I think there's 3 boxes of it left in existence.
Good.
But
Well, hide one for me.
I will.
I'll, I'll buy it at the next show for sure. Uh, yeah, I thought that was I like that whole project. I mean, I had him on the show just to talk about the whole Magnolia sessions. I like, getting creative with it, but keeping it kind of
Yeah.
punk rock.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's very unique, and I just love the experience of it because every artist I talked to that did a Magnolia Sessions got done. They're like, I played like shit, That was awful.
No one's
And
happy with them. They're like,
yeah,
man,
and that's the whole point though, is it's supposed to be as raw as possible. And Dan wants to keep the mistakes. And I love that. It's like you get 2 or 3 takes for each song, and then he's like, next. And you just it's very real, it's not polished like a regular recording.
yeah, I I I like that. That's more character to it for sure.
Yeah.
More real, and you can connect to it easier, I think, than the polished studio stuff all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what musicians really are, just real people that fuck up all the time, especially when they're playing music. And it's like, I don't know, all that gets covered up in the Nashville polish, I feel like.
Yeah. So, so how'd you learn to play fiddle?
I taught myself, uh, just kind of watching people. Had a couple figures in my life that were very inspiring fiddlers, some of the best. They're so good. And I just watch what they did and kind of try and emulate it. And then just playing along to a lot of different styles, kind of an eclectic range, helped me learn different things that would complement other music styles and back and forth and so on. So yeah, just a lot of playing on the street. Because when I was busking, I would play like 4 to 10 hours all the
Dang.
time. I'd be out there like 4 or 5 days a week. So it's like it was probably pretty rough for people in the beginning because they had to listen to it. But over the years, I learned how to make it sound a little bit better.
Fine tune it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of practicing every day. That's for sure.
yeah,
I imagine you can get pretty good at something. You do it 8 to 10 hours a day.
yeah. And I unfortunately, it's like living tour to tour and not getting much time home. And when I am home, it's like it's so much work I got to do to get everything ready. I don't play music nearly as much as I used to. It's crazy. So I'm hoping with this time off this winter, I'll get to playing and writing again.
Yeah. What type of instrumentation is on these backtracks? Would be like you is fiddle, banjo, all string stuff, or are you even adding like drums, or like how experimental are you getting?
There's gonna be 1 or 2 songs that have accordion,
Okay.
um, just kind of droning along in the background. But for the most part, it's like banjo, fiddle, bass, guitar, vocals, and I might do harmonies on it or have someone do harmonies on it. We'll see. But it's all different styles too. Like the one song is kind of Eastern European, and I might get a brass band on that one. It's kind of a pipe dream that I think is working out. And the other one's bluegrass, and the other one's real Irishy sounding. So it's going to be quite the cut the wide swath more than my last couple albums for sure.
Yeah, that's good to change it up, and
Yeah,
something unique and different. Can
yeah. And
you?
if you hate one song, then the next song will be completely different. So
Yeah, or they'll like one and be like, "Why do you not continue doing that the whole album?"
yeah, and then I'll put it out and get a consensus of what people like, and I'll gear the next album towards that.
Yeah. So is it top secret, or can you tell us on the record that you're going to be doing with all the covers? Can you drop some of the names of the songs that you're going to be covering?
Yeah, I actually just found a list of this. I was kind of going through things, getting ready for tour, and I have them all written down. I'll let you in on some of the good ones. Um, Cumberland Gap. I'm gonna do Cumberland Gap, which is an old traditional tune. That's just always been one of my favorites, and I play it like Doc Boggs does, but on fiddle because his real crooked and stuff. So I'm gonna be putting banjo and fiddle to that probably, and then let's see what else. Definitely gonna do "Am I Born to Die." You know that song?
Wait, who originally did that one?
Originally, it's a Sacred Harp song, so it was
Okay.
kind of like big group singing. But Doc Watson and Gaither Carlton did a version, and then Tim Erickson did a version, and both those versions are so good. It's hard to record it again and feel
The
good about putting it out. They've been done perfectly.
Doc's the only one I've heard do it.
Yeah,
But
Docs is probably
I
the
didn't
best.
think he was an original of it or anything, but
Yeah,
I always wondered who did. If it's just an old traditional song that's been passed down.
yeah. This one's gonna have a couple different Irish tunes on it, and then a bunch of just Appalachian stuff. I don't think there'll be any Romani stuff on it at all. I was thinking about doing Rock Salt and Nails, but I don't know. It just got covered by so many people.
Yeah.
You know, if you do a take that's different enough, it doesn't feel too repetitive. But that song's been kind of ground into the dirt.
Yeah. It could go, yeah, like you said, it could go either way. I mean, I don't think it
Yeah,
would be wrong. I don't think it'd be wrong or bad to
yeah.
do
But chances are there's 30 people out there doing it better than you are if it's played
it.
that much, which would probably end up being the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Tyler Childers' version, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is. He's something else. Uh, man, if there's one thing you could leave us with here before we sign off, what would it be? Everyone's got a
Mm,
website, I'm sure, that you need to plug.
yeah, I got a website where you can find all the tickets and the merch and stuff, but really, yeah, I'd say just pay attention to all the socials because I'll be putting out singles and a bunch of albums in the next year or so. But besides that, I've fallen off of doing a good job on maintaining my website or doing stuff on social media. It's not my favorite thing. I kind of hate social media. So
Yeah.
everyone else is a lot better at it than me. I see their posts and there's all these inspirational things. And I can't quite,
Yeah.
I can't quite get there on social media. But I'd say just keep your eyes peeled because I'm sure I'll get back into the groove of it and do some weird shit on there like I used to.
Good. Well, so some of that music that will be released or talked about on there, I'm sure you might have some videos in the works or anything.
Yes. Yeah. I got a couple videos with Western AF and
Okay.
a big handful of videos with Gems. And I'm talking to some other folks about doing videos with other production companies as well. Because I'd like to get out there in different platforms. They always want to do it on tour though. And tour's already so busy and you don't get much sleep. And then all of a sudden you're shooting a video and you feel like shit. So I haven't done many other ones besides
Yeah.
Gems.
Gotcha. Well, man, it's a pleasure. I'm happy that you were able to get on here. I think
Yeah.
at Birds Creek that over a year ago is when I first told you. I was like, yeah, I'd love to have you on. So finally made
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, next time you come through
Sweet.
town, I'll be there. So
Yeah. Let me know. I'll save you Magnolia sessions.
yes, for sure.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care, and we'll catch you on the road.
Yeah. Have a good one now.